Good morning everyone, it's Wednesday morning, so it is time for our resistance band workout. Well, this is going to be more of a small apparatus workout, so some weeks we might have a small ball, sometimes we might use some light weights. Today we're going to use a resistance band because I know an awful lot of you have these at home. It's going to be a 45-minute class, so before we start, just have a quick look at your resistance band. Just check down the edges for any nicks or tears, because it's not really safe to use if there are any there. So just a quick scan along the edges and check that they're safe to use. Now I've got two different levels of resistance. I've got light and I've got a medium. If you've only got one, remember you can always adjust the amount of resistance that you have by how tight or loose you have your band. You might even prefer, if you have issues in certain areas, to do some of the work without the band. Now I'm going to try and make this accessible to everyone, so please do listen for modifications. If kneeling isn't available to you, have a sturdy chair handy. So before we start, make sure you've got a nice, safe, clear working area and that you're feeling fit and well today. I'm just going to pop my bands down where I can easily reach them. So I'm just going to switch off that little thing and then I can actually see what we're doing this morning. Okay, so a nice quick warm up. Let's get everything moving before we grab that band. So coming into your good standing posture, toes level, feet parallel, you know the drill, and let's find the centre of our heels. And just check that we've got even pressure through both feet. So standing tall, focus into your breath, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just notice how that breath energizes you, getting it to go all the way around the rib cage, making sure we're not breathing up and down into the shoulders. And we're just going to start with a little swing of the arms. So we're standing tall while you're just gently moving those arms. Think about how you're standing through the rest of the body. So knees straight but not locked. Pelvis into neutral, and feeling that we are lifting out of the hips and that core is active rather than being relaxed down into them and nothing switched on. We'll do one more each way, and then let's just take the arm out to the side, little side bend, and pull back up. Inhale over. Exhale, pull back up. Staying really steady on the feet. One more each way. Okay, from there, I'm going to turn this way a little bit. We're going to go into foot pedals with that opposition arm now. Let's just wake up the feet and the legs. Feel what's happening through the feet and the hips. So we're pressing that heel back down underneath the hips, sending that energy down into the second and middle toe rather than into your big toe or your little toe. Feel what's happening. Now let's take both arms up and come into a bow and arrow. So just make sure that chest is open, shoulders retracted, and let's pull back and forwards. Waking up the arms, getting those triceps active. So really do think about brushing past the ribs rather than down past your hip. Bend the elbow as much as you can. Let's take one more to each side. And then we're going to add in a little bit of rotation. So exhale, pulling round. hips are staying level, so you're feeling your abdominals are doing this rather than your back. So if you feel like your back's doing the work, just think of pressing that hip down. It's probably coming up with you and you're twisting. One more each way. And then we're going to bring the arms down and go into a little squat here. Just a little squat and push up. Take it at your pace. If you feel I'm going a little bit quick for you, just slow it down, that's okay. And one more here. Now, we're going to take that a little further, come into your squat. As you push up, we'll take the arms up, rise onto the toes, circle it round. Into that little squat, push up and round. Squat, we're going to lift those arms and round. Keeping that neck long, shoulders stay down, so shoulder issues. Keep your range of movement smaller if you need to. We've got one more. And down. Okay, we're feeling nice and warmed up. Let's grab that light band to begin with, if you have that option, because we're going to do some arms and shoulders now. Some of you will be familiar with these ones if you've done a class with me fairly recently. So you want to have your band going down the outside of your body, stepping onto it, and take that palm facing the front. Now just check that you haven't locked the wrist or the elbow. If anything, soften and feel a gentle muscle contraction in the arm. Let's take a breath in, and as you exhale, just a little lift. Inhale back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. Now if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, take the other arm across the chest, and we're going to lift a little bit higher. So if you need to loosen your band to get a bit more height, please do, because I'd like you to eventually try and get to a nice diagonal reach. And make sure that is out to the side and you haven't got that arm in front of you. Are you feeling this other side kicking in, stopping you from bending? Okay, let's add in a leg now if you wish to. So if you can, we're going to slide that leg out, take a diagonal stretch and bring it back in. Now you'll notice I'm keeping my knee facing the front and the top of my foot. So I'm sliding onto the inside of the big toe. We've got one more here. And bring it down. Wonderful. Now, you can stay with feet hip distance if you want to add in that midline. Let's bring feet together. And we're going to wrap the other hand across the band now and have it low down on the hip. So it's almost on the top of your thigh. Open the shoulders, we're going to draw the sword. Let's take a breath out and draw that line across the body. So again, neck is staying long, and I can see that elbow out of the corner of my eye. Notice if you feel like you're using your wrist to do this. Maybe loosen your band a little if you need to. Now, can we add in that midline if you've got feet together? As you exhale and lift, can you squeeze the inside of the knees together and lift the pelvic floor? So we exhale, activate that midline. Are you feeling those inner thighs and that pelvic floor switching on, or are you squeezing your glutes? got 2 more here. And one last one. And release. Wonderful. Let's take that to the other side. So remember, you want to have your band going up the outside of your foot, palm forwards, back to your good standing posture. More advanced version, take that arm across the chest and just make sure this arm is gently rounded. Feel that muscle contraction rather than locking the joints out. Keep it small to begin with. You're going to gradually go higher to where you feel like it's an effort, but it's not uncomfortable. Exhale, lift and down. Start to go a bit higher. One more, and then let's add in that leg if you wish to. If you want to stay with just the arm, that's fine. We're keeping this leg parallel. Let's keep knees and toes facing the front and sliding out and drawing back in, coming onto the inside of the big toe. So if you're turning that leg out, you'll feel that you're more on the tip of the big toe. So inside of that big toe. One last one. And in. Wonderful. Okay, again, feet together if you wish to for this next one. Draw the sword. Let's wrap that hand around and hold it low on the hip bone. Open the shoulder, stand up tall. Take a breath in. As you exhale, we're pulling up to the ribs, elbow coming out to the side. Exhale and inhale. Now, we're ready to activate that midline if you've got feet together. On that breath out, squeeze the knees together, activate that inner thigh, pelvic floor, and you should feel that hopefully travel up into the abdominals too. We've got one more here. And release. Okay, let's step off that band now. I'm going to work a little bit more on that midline, but also on shoulder. So shoulder issues, particularly rotator cuff. This is a great one for you, but if it doesn't feel good for your shoulders, do it without the band. Again, you can stay feet hip distance if you want to, so particularly if you have pelvic girdle pain or if you've recently had a hip replacement. Otherwise, feet nice and tight together, and let's just make sure that palms are facing the ceiling. We've not got our arms up here. Nice and level. Okay, might want a little bit more slack on that band. That's it. Okay, take a breath in. As you exhale, we're going to rotate both arms out and bring it back in. So again, check you're not doing this with your wrists and pushing your wrists out. Think of leading with the fingertips. And we're feeling this in the shoulder cap. Exhale. Now, add in that midline if you wish to. So on that breath out, squeezing those knees together and lifting up taller. Now, this one, we're going to hold if you can. Hold it in that V. Keep the tension on. Can you push forwards and bring it back in without losing any of that tension? push out. Are your palms still facing the ceiling, or have you turned? Push and back in. Quite a tough one, this one, isn't it? And in, and push, and in. Wonderful. Okay, we're going to take that band around the back now. So this is going around the bottom of your rib cage, so that it's snug around the bottom of those shoulder blades. And we're going to step the feet a little bit wider because we're going to go into monkey squats in a moment. But let's start with the arms. Feel that you've retracted those shoulders, they're open and down, and hold on to that feeling for me. Can you push the arm forwards and think of leading with the little finger? Exhale. So you'll notice I'm keeping the shoulder back rather than allowing it to travel. Keep that retraction. Okay, let's add in that squat. So we want the effort to be in the same place on each movement. So we're going to push both arms out as we come up out of the squat. So let's go into that squat. Inhale down. Exhale, push up and out. Inhale down. Exhale, push up and out. Have you still got that lovely shoulder retraction? Can you feel it? One last one. Now push up and hold. We're just going to do the arms a little bit faster. And push. And we've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. Wonderful. Let's take that band off and just release the hands. So you've been gripping that band. Just give them a scrunch and stretch. And then a little roll on the hips. Okay, from there we're going to do a little bit of tricep work with a lunge. Now, if doing a lunge isn't available to you, sit yourself into that sturdy chair, loop your band underneath, and you're going to row backwards. Otherwise, we're coming into a lunge. So this time you want to take the ends of your bands, but have your palms facing inwards. Okay, so we've got that nice loop. We're going to step one foot into the band, just make sure it's secure. And then we're going to step the other leg back and hinge forwards. Retract the shoulders again and feel that you've got that core active. We're not slouched forwards. Pulling in. Now we're going to come down into a lunge and just shorten that band a little for me. Just a little. So as you come up, you're going to curl. Inhale down. Exhale, curl up. So adding in that little twist to make it really effective for those biceps. Back foot, are you even across the toes, or have you turned that leg out and you're just resting on your big toe? Feel what's happening. Sorry, I said triceps in the chair, didn't I? Hopefully you've all realised and you've done biceps. If not, do biceps on this next one, because we're going to do triceps now. So this time we're going to change our grip. You want your thumb forwards, grab that band. Okay, get a bit of tension on, retract the shoulders. Let's step that leg back. So we're going to come down into that lunge, And push up and pull back to the hips, send those elbows behind you. Chin is nodded, let's keep that spine long. One last one. And release. Okay, let's step off that band. Now, we're going to come down into seated, so if you need to stay in a chair, stay in the chair. This is going to be some abdominal work, so please do listen for the modifications. If you have osteoporosis, diastasis, hernia or prolapse, then I'd like you to just take this very easy, and especially osteoporosis, you're not going to do the rotation for me. So coming down onto the mat, sitting with the feet out in front, and you'll notice I've doubled the band over because I'm just using it more as a guide now rather than for actual stretch and resistance. So feet planted, I've got my thumbs over with my fingers, shoulders wide, and we're just going to lift that band up, lift, and back again. Focus on the movement of your shoulders. Now if this seated position, if you're sat here and that isn't comfortable, pop yourself onto your block or a cushion, just see if lifting you up a little bit can make it a bit more comfortable. Now can you feel how those shoulder blades start to tighten into the back? One last one. Now, we're just going to follow that band forward. Take a stretch, breath into the back, and exhale, curl back up. Now, we're going to do some small rollbacks now. If you haven't got osteoporosis, diastasis, hernia, prolapse, bulging disc where you've been told not to flex your lower back, you can follow this. And take it a bit bigger when we do the progressions. Otherwise, I want you to just keep it very small and focus on engaging your abdominals. So let's take that band up at shoulder height. Take a breath in. Now, move from the pelvis rather than your shoulders. Just curl over those sitting bones and pull back up. Notice where you are moving from. Are you going straight into the shoulders to curl back? Make sure you move from the pelvis and up. Okay, bring those arms down for a moment. We're just going to turn the chin over one shoulder. Nod it down towards the collarbones. Up and over to the other side. Nod it down. Lift and return to centre. Okay. If you were one of those groups that I mentioned, you're going to repeat that. So you're going to start with your lift, just staying seated, and then that very small curl back. If you're going to come into the progressions with me, it's going to be a little bit tougher. Right, so we're going to curl back. Can you go a little bit further? Follow that band, pull it up and lift. Can you take those shoulders behind your hips? Exhale, curl back. Up and lift. Getting that nice extension. And back, so stenosis, you're not going to do this extension either, not great for your spines. Two more. and up. One last one. And up. Fantastic. Again, take a little stretch forwards. Now this next one is quite hard work. If you are level 1 or have any of the issues that I mentioned before, you're going to do this seated, however's comfortable for you, in a chair, on the mat, or kneeling up, and I would like you to open your band, and you're going to pull one arm out to the side and then just follow it a little way. So osteoporosis, I prefer you to be up in kneeling and allow your hips to move, and you're going to do 6 to each side. Okay, so it's a bit like side laying open door but in seated. Otherwise, if you're doing the progression, you're going to take that band as it was, and we're going to sit tall, thumbs over the top, take a curl back. Now we're going to dip down. Don't let your knees or hips move, keep them still. Anchor those feet. So remember, keep those shoulders lifted, we're turning the body. One more to each side. And centre, and come back up for one last extension. If you're doing that side opening, you just finish off the ones that you need to do, so you've done the same on each side. And curling back up. Okay, from there we're going to do a little bit of leg work now. So I'm going to swap for my tougher band. Now if you're in a chair, you can do this seated, pop the band around your foot. If you can come down onto your backs, you're going to come into a lying position, making sure that that chin is nodded. We've got length in the spine, settling the hips so that you can feel the same pressure on each side, and the feet nice and flat. Now, to get that band around your foot, if this is not available to you, please do not do this. That is really bad for your spine. Roll over to one side. Use your arm for a bit of leverage. Get that band around your foot and come back again. Okay? Much safer for your spine. Now again, we're going to have little fingers away from you, thumbs towards you, palms facing each other. And we're going to bring the elbows down onto the mat and open the shoulders. Now, pushing out at 45 degrees, we're going to push and bring it back in. Now you'll notice, I maybe should have said, I've got the band more around the ball of the foot than the heel, which we don't normally do, but there is a reason for that. So really try and have those shoulders nice and open. I just noticed that mine were a little bit rounded, widening them out. Okay, let's push that leg straight without locking the knee. Now this one, I'm going to push out and hold. Now push the ball of the foot forwards and release. Push and release. So try and feel that your arch is doing that work. It's not the toes, it's the ball of the foot pushing forward, contracting that arch. One last one. Now we're going to hold that flexed foot and lift. Come into a hamstring stretch for me. Now we're going to take straight leg down and up. Push it away And just see if you can keep some resistance in there as you come back up. Don't let that band do the work for you. One last one. Now this next one, we're taking the leg out to the side. You might prefer to do this with a bent knee and have the band around your thigh. But otherwise, straight leg. We're all going to take that band into the opposite hand and anchor. Let's take the arm out to the side. Now just notice that your pelvis is still on the mat, same pressure on each side. Can you open that leg out to the side without your knee, the other knee, following you or counterbalancing? Yeah? See if you can keep it still. So think of pressing down through the ball of the foot. Keep that foot connected, use it as an anchor. We've got two more. Last one. And bring it in. Now, safest way to change legs, if you can, is open that band, anchor the elbows, take a breath in. As you exhale, pop the other foot in. Remember, you're going across the ball of the foot, and then bring the other leg down. Let's open the shoulders and anchor those elbows. We're pushing out. Push and back in. Exhale on that effort. Now we've got one more. We're going to hold that leg out straight, and we're going to use the ball of the foot, push and flex, push and flex. One last one. And flex. Let's bring that leg up. Oh, that hamstring's feeling tight today, my goodness. Okay, and we're going to push that leg down. I don't know what I must have been doing. Right, up we go into that stretch. So I'm not forcing it, but I can feel that this leg really needs a bit of work on it today. One last one, resisting on that way up, and we're ready for that inner thigh stretch and working those hips. Let's pop the band into one hand, just take your elbow out to the side a little, anchor that band. Remember, bend the knee and take it around the thigh if you need to. Taking the other arm out to the side. Let's anchor this foot that's on the floor. Press down, keep that knee still. Let's take that leg out and bring it back up. I've not quite got enough room here. I didn't think I would have. Opening out. That's better. And back up. let's bring it in. Now, you're either going to swap feet and do one leg at a time for this next one. So osteoporosis, osteopenia, diastasis, hernia, prolapse, or if it just feels uncomfortable, you're going to do one leg at a time. Now, if you're somebody who normally turns their leg out, you're going to do this again in parallel. It's going to be that push and back in. Otherwise, you are coming into first position with both those legs into the band. We're going to take it around the outside. Now, oh, no, we're not. We're going to take it across the ball of the foot. Band into the middle. Okay, heels together. And exhale, push out, squeeze the legs together. So if you turn your legs out, you're doing this in parallel. One leg at a time. Unless you can do both legs in the air, it's safe and appropriate. So it's much, much harder work on the abdominals. So if there's any issues there or any issues with your spine, this might be too much pressure with both feet off the floor. So we're going to push, hands in, keep those heels together, and in. Okay, safely coming out of that band. If you're still doing one leg at a time, have a go at doing a few more, otherwise just take a stretch out, so make sure you've done the same amount on each leg. And bring it back down. Okay, so hopefully you've caught up. I'm going to move down the mat a little bit because we're going to do some shoulders now. So again, I'm going to swap my band. You might want to do this without if you've got shoulder issues. So the band is single again, palms facing away, thumbs into the middle, and I've got it shoulder width. Now I'm going to curl up into a shoulder bridge. So spinal issues, particularly osteoporosis, you're only just going to lift your hips. If you're really rounded in the upper back and you have to support your head, you're just coming up to your shoulder blades, bottom of the rib cage area. Yeah, that is enough for you. Otherwise, let's lift all the way up and bring it down. Now, if you have blood pressure issues, I'd like you to do this with the band here, elbows down on the mat. Okay, otherwise you can have your arms pointing up at the ceiling. Let's send those knees away, keeping those toes connected. Now this time when we curl up, can you pull the band apart? Pull. And curl back down. Exhale. So you want it to be going across your collarbones. Now this next one, some of you might prefer to do this, just the arms and stay on the mat. If you want to stay up in a shoulder bridge, you can. Shoulder issues, please listen to your shoulders. Just take it as far as is comfortable, don't force it. Okay, so we're going to curl up and hold. If you're holding that shoulder bridge, we're taking the arms overhead. Reach. And bring it back over. And again, keeping that lift. Have you still got those glutes working? Now if this is enough for your shoulders, stay with this. If you can you take that band over and pull apart? Little pulses out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring that band over and curl back down. Wonderful. Right, from there, I'm going to pop that band to the side and safely come over onto the side and pushing up. Now, if you're in a chair, you're going to thread that band underneath again. Similarly, if sitting in this position isn't comfortable for you, so this is called on the walk, you've got your toe by your knee, you could do this cross-legged or come into seated on a chair, nice sturdy chair. Now, palms down, you're going to grab that band width of your knees. If you're sat in a chair, you're going to take that band a little bit wider than your shoulders. Now, blood pressure issues, can you just keep it here? So if you have a high blood pressure, you're on blood pressure medication, can you please keep your band here rather than above the head? But if you can go above the head, that's where we're going to. And we're going to put some tension into that band as we stretch over and use that tension to pull back up. Inhale over, exhale, pull back up. Now this might be enough for you. This might feel like really quite hard work. That's okay, just check that hip. Is it gripping? Can you push your knee away? Release that grip. Okay, stay with that if you need to. If you can, let's take that arm over, push it to the floor, use that tension, pull back up. So we're just going a little bit deeper. Two more here. So this is sort of a variation on mermaid. So if you've got that band out in front of you, I should maybe have explained a bit better, shouldn't I? That you're just kind of pulling out and up. Okay, let's take those knees in and come over to the other side. Settling the hips, sitting tall. Let's take that band up. Little bit of tension in as we come over. And pull back up. Remember, you might feel different on this side. Just watch for doing this though and just moving the arms. Make sure your head stays in the middle. That way we're working the body. Now, if you're taking it into that progression, we're using that tension, push to the floor. Tension pulls us back up. Let's do two more. And up, one last one. And up. Wonderful. Let's bring those arms down and just give the shoulders a little roll. From there, safely up into standing. So however's good for you. Squat if you can, and coming back to that good standing posture, we need to give those shoulders a nice stretch. So hands behind the back, just lace the fingers, open the shoulders, and we're going to push away and lift. Hold that stretch, keep reaching away, chin back. It's very tempting to push the head forwards in this stretch. Just see if you can do that without it. Now take the arms forwards, wrap them round, lace the fingers, take a stretch, and then we're going to pull up, push to the ceiling so that you feel those triceps stretch, and release, and let's just take a nice side stretch to finish. Up and over. Now just soften the knees. I want you to roll round to the middle, just the upper body. Just stay soft and curl back up. Other side, up and over. Soft knees, we're curling round and restacking, and then one last nice big stretch out, breath in and out, and there you go, resistance band workout. So don't worry, I'll let you know what props I'm deciding to use for next week's class in advance so you can have them ready. Take care everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon.